but it is so hard for me to stop eating.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
My 600-Pound Life is a show about testing absolute limits, patients who are suffering from overweight and obesity, and who come on the show to change and save their lives. Dr. Now helps patients, all of those patients who suffer are being bedridden in physical and mental pain. He helps them by starting on an aggressive diet and workout plan to qualify for weight loss surgery. But in today's video, we'll see some crazy and psycho moments from My 600-Pound Life Season 9. Cindy's Psycho Moment. When Cindy featured on the show, she was bedbound, unable to walk. In fact, it wasn't easy for her to even get to her bathroom, as it makes her quite exhausted. She also has a carer who looks after her, but her friends convinced her after some struggles to contact Dr. Now. At first, everything looked all well and quite set up for her to get medical transport to visit Dr. Now. But when the actual time came in, and when medical transport arrived at her place, Cindy started driving crazy both the medical staff team and her friend Sandy. Because randomly she constantly changed her mind in a second, she started making scenarios in her mind whether or not she wants to go. While the other way, she made a medical team to stand waiting as she pretended to take a shower and continued her indecisiveness for decades. Sandy, her friend, broke down into tears as she didn't want to lose her best friend. After seeing all this, only then Cindy agreed to go. Well, this isn't just a crazy and psycho moment, in fact, it was also painstakingly infuriating. Carrie's earring habits at work. Food is my highest priority is a one quote that directly sums up Carrie's life. At a doctor's office, Carrie works as a receptionist because it's the only job she can feasibly do, as she just needs to be sitting down all the time, and because her weight can help her to walk quite more and makes it difficult to be comfortable standing on her feet. Well, for her 8-hour duty, whenever she walks into her workplace, all she can think about is food.
But it is so hard for me to stop eating.
She also claims that lunch is the only thing that motivates her to do her best. In fact, as soon as she gets into her job, she eventually starts craving food and ends up eating her lunch just a few minutes after sitting down. As you can see in the clip, she's hobbling over to the microwave and reaching for the fridge. Even notice how Carrie is winded, especially just after a few words of conversation.
Coming in today to answer messages? Okay.
She can hardly breathe after uttering some words while talking to someone. Sadly, her lifestyle is merely crazy. Thedrick's trip to Houston moment.
With 2 orders of wings and the order of cheesy bread, ice cream is one of my favorites.
In this clip, you'll see that when Thedrick went onto the show, he was at his breaking point as he could barely walk. Even he had lots of trouble while doing his daily simple tasks such as going to the restroom or cooking a meal for himself. Thedrick had to travel to Texas from Florida to seek help by Dr. Now. Well, his mother had to help him in their minivan with all the seating down in the trunk when he decided to meet Dr. Now to be starting his journey. In fact, during his whole trip, he was not even able to use the bathroom because of his heavy body. On the other hand, he was not able to get out of the vehicle on his own. For that trip, they had to drive 700 miles. But while on their way, there were so many stopping points in which fast food restaurants were also included. With him, his mother was also there, as she wanted to be a part of his weight loss journey. But during their way to Dr. Now's place, she kept stopping at fast food places to get their meals. What a support!
I just stuck to salads, vegetable, and meat.
Well, that's good.
Dr. Now would for sure not be happy after knowing all that he was making stops in unhealthy fast food places. According to Thedrick and his mom, they already knew that these were not the best choices, but they were hoping that reaching at Dr. Now's office would help them out. But he definitely made some psycho and crazy unhealthy choices on the trip down. Carrie's husband. Just by the looks of her, as a viewer, we all knew already she was on the brink of eating herself to death. While the craziest aspect of Carrie's story is that she can pinpoint her exact behaviors, and actually she's understandably self-aware about where she needs help, as she knows that her weight is out of control. In fact, her body is getting to a breaking point, but despite the fact that she knows all that, she still can't seem to get her eating habits under control. Well, in her episode, she gripes about her struggles and efforts to get rid of her overeating, as her husband is the one who feeds her a large amount of food for dinner. Even on the camera, she was seen crying and telling the crew that it's quite hard for her to focus on work, her family, and her husband.
Because our relationship is so strained. I miss my husband terribly bad.
All because of her overeating, as she eats too much, and her life is drastically affected by all this. Well, she complains about her weight and her life, but still she asks her husband to fill her plate by putting all that looks like a pound or two of pasta, and the kicker, and to complete the multi-1,000-calorie meal, he piles 4 garlic breadsticks on top. This is all sick, psycho, and crazy. How much Carrie consumes her food, and she's aware that she has no control over all that stuff. Melissa M's craziest story. The origin of Melissa's story was one of the craziest and saddest moments of the episode of Season 9. Actually, when she was a child, like other girls, she also had a beautiful and strong bond with her father. She even looked up to him all the time, but however, her parents' relationship was quite shattered, as it was on the rocks when she turned 8. Therefore, after some time, her father left them, so she began to gain weight as she started to binge eating to cope up with her stress.
I have a hard time facing the reality of my life because at my size, at my weight.
In fact, at the age of 13, when she weighed 250 pounds, her mother started verbally abusing her for being overweight and telling her that she was ugly and she was fat. Because of all that, she lost her weight, but another trauma hit her when she was just 15. She got pregnant and her boyfriend left her, so she had to have an abortion. Because of this major and tragic incident, she fell into depression at the age of 18, which led her to almost 400 pounds. She also dropped out of school and got re-enrolled because she always wanted to study like other students. But in her life, there came a point when she ended up dropping out of college as she had to get a job. But at the age of 27, to deal with the life out of it, all she did was eat and work. Well, as we know, her entire world was flipped around. She admitted that food was the major thing that filled the void that she needed. At 35, she was getting sick all the time and lost her mother. But because of her weight, Melissa had to miss her mother's funeral, and at that time, her only support system was her friend Shay. That heartbreaking moment was the craziest and saddest story moment, which only made Melissa's journey that much more important. Carrie's transformation. Well, if you haven't watched Carrie's episode yet, then there's a spoiler alert, as this entry is actually a #1 craziest moment of her episode of Season 9 that actually happened once it ends. Spoiler is all about Carrie's transformation, which can make you surprised and actually a jaw-dropping moment. I'm proud to say that she finally accomplished her goal by struggling against all odds. Well, who doesn't love a good happy ending? We all do, right? At the end of her episode, you'll see Carrie's self-awareness as it came full circle, and she was able to successfully lose her unwanted weight just to be qualified to get bariatric surgery under the supervision of Dr. Now. You may remember, as earlier they mentioned in her episode, when she griped over her relationship with her husband. Also, she confessed that she was worried that he might get fed up of her and leave her being obese, just like other certainly strained relationships. But that's quite healthy and optimistic of her that she worked on herself and made things possible. Well, despite the ups and downs of her dramatic weight loss, her relationship with her husband is still going strong. In fact, I've followed up with Carrie on all her social media platforms, and on her social pages, it seems that in order to keep her husband, she's been able to keep off the weight that she lost over her tragic journey. I'm quite happy to add Carrie in today list of 600-pound patients who, despite the craziness of being obese, was able to turn her life around. Well, as a viewer, I can only hope and wish that other psycho patients should learn from her example, that they can change their lifestyle and have the courage to prove to themselves, their loved ones, and everyone that they're capable of true change. Well, that's all, folks. Thanks for watching, and if you guys found it interesting, I'd much appreciate it if you commented down below about the video and leave a thumbs up. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for getting updates related to our latest videos.